Great day, attractive thinker and visual encouragers around the world. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at theattractivethinker.guru. Run on over there and get your freebies because there's a lot of content there for you for the next 5 days. You want to stay connected. Welcome, my co-host, Tichet Bradshaw, to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance.
Happy Mindset Monday, everybody. We made it. We get to do what we've never done, go where we've never gone, and have all that we deserve to have in this lifetime. Let it be the most powerful week. It's a great day to be alive.
It is a fantastic and amazing day to be alive. Write that down in your Attractive Thinker notebook. I already know that you have your Attractive Thinker notebook handy and your copy of the Attractive Thinker on Amazon. If you do not, you want to run over there and grab this copy. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. It will find you wherever you are on this journey. We support new and aspiring entrepreneurs, people in the midst of change and transformation, people who want to better their lives, or just simply think a new thought, create a new thought pattern, because the old thought pattern no longer serves where you are and where you currently desire to go for your life with your life. You know, today I want to thank the attractive thinkers and visual encouragers who are posting comments. You're leaving comments, you're letting us know how these messages are really fueling you, how they're, serving you on your entrepreneurial journey or in transformation, whatever it is that you're dealing with, in a break, beyond a break, currently entering into a break, whatever stage or phase of life that you're in. If these messages are consistently resonating with you, you have to know that they will resonate with others as well, with your circle of influence, if they're making an impact in your life. And I wanted to really highlight and thank the attractive thinker who posted this message. Literally changed my life. This message was positioned to change my life. This message actually could have changed my life. That makes a difference with Tichet and I, because we're putting out, I don't even like calling it content, Tichet. We're releasing power every week. We're releasing resources that do change lives. This is what's missing. This is what's necessary in our lives to thrive in life, to reconnect with ourselves. Today we posted recovering from a broken value system. But where do you hear conversations like that at? So we provide power, uh, information and resources that hit the core, that change the roots, that change the dynamics, that change the mindset, that actually heal, provide healing. We're healing up to higher versions of ourselves. And today we're going to be talking about clarity and support for the break. Now, when we talk about a break, when me and Tashette show up every week and we're talking about a break, on our Beyond the Break 2020 YouTube channel, we're talking about people who are entering into a break, people who are in a break, people who are on their way out of a break, and people who are beyond the break. We want to address you because we too entered into a break. We found ourselves in the middle of a break. We found ourselves coming out of a break. I didn't know that I would ever come out of my break. I couldn't even see beyond the break. I couldn't see beyond entering into the break. I couldn't see beyond where I was. So these other phases and stages, they were oblivious to me because I had never considered, I just thought that this would be my life, that this is how it was going to be. But today we're talking to attractive thinkers and visionaries who are entering into a break. And we decided to talk to you today, to address you today, because we remember how we felt when we were entering into a break. I believe, Touchette, when I look back on my break, my heartbreak, in my defining moment, I believe that was a time that I needed the most clarity and support in this breaking process, in this breaking growth process. That was the time that I needed the most support because it blindsided me, because it knocked me out of the game, because it knocked me off of my feet, because it broke my heart, because my world was turned upside down, because I was now unfamiliar with everything, because I had to revamp my entire life as a result of this break. So I needed a lot of clarity and support then. And here's the deal. When it happened to Chet, I found myself, the territory and environment that I was in was so unfamiliar that now the people around me could no longer address where I was. They could no longer fuel or feed me. They didn't have the clarity and support that I needed. The best that they could offer me was well wishes and prayers. So my first book that I wrote, Don't Be Afraid, He's Preparing You, that was a result of an attempt, my best attempt to give back to humanity what wasn't given to me, to provide something that I didn't have access to. At the time that I was experiencing my defining moment, I couldn't find me anywhere. I couldn't find support or resources for what I was dealing with and that in that particular moment anywhere, and it was very difficult. So I felt compelled to write about my journey so that the people coming behind me who had to experience a breaking in that particular area or a defining moment similar to that, that they would now have clarity and support for the break. We need clarity and support for the break. Why do we need clarity for the break? Because when we enter into a break, be it a heartbreak or a break in a success or a defining moment, everything is unfamiliar. We don't have, but prior to the break, we had clarity. We knew where we were going. We knew what we wanted to do with our lives. We were familiar with who was around us, who we could trust, who we couldn't trust. That's clarity. After a defining moment takes place, now you don't know who to trust, who not to trust, who to trust. You sometimes you break so deeply you lose trust in your own self. We need clarity for these breaks because now things have shifted and changed, and the meanings and the definitions that we gave to things, they aren't the same. So you need clarity. You need to know what this means now, and over here on the right, what does that mean? Or where I am in life now, what is the meaning? Where is my meaning and fulfillment? you know you need clarity about your decisions. You used to be clear about this decision that you made. Now you're not clear. Now it's kind of shaky. Now you're not sure. Now you used to be a decisive person. Now you don't like making decisions. Now you don't have the strength to make decisions. Your life has been reduced to the moment. Now all you can think about is maybe eating an apple just so I have something on my stomach through all of this. Maybe just a glass of water is sufficient in this process, this season that I'm in right now. You reduce your life to the moment and you just focus on what you need in this moment. I just need a pair of socks. Can somebody get me a pair of socks just to keep my feet warm right now? That's all. I don't need anything else. Or can I get a blanket or a pillow? Or can somebody, help me get up off of this chair so I can get to the next chair? You're not crippled. You're not sick, you're weak, you're distraught, your strength is gone, and you need clarity and support for the break. Tichet, talk to us today. Clarity and support for the break.
Absolutely. Dr. Toni, one of the things that we know is necessary when we going into a break, even if we are in a break, we need to know what that support looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the reason why we need to have the clarity to know what that support looks like is because people are going to offer many different things. They're going to
Mm.
offer opinions, suggestions. They're going to offer based on their limited way of thinking or
Yeah.
their knowledge or their experience or their wisdom. And you have to know which one to take and apply and which one to let slide, to let it go, in other words, right? Because everything is not for you and everything is not for y'all. Just because someone suggested does not mean you're obligated to take that suggestion. Just because somebody offered it does not mean you're obligated to take what is offered. You want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure you're not wasting your time, you're not wasting other people's time, you're not wasting gifts that doesn't fit you, you're not wasting anything, right? Because we know time and energy and money, those are your currencies, right? We want to make sure we don't waste it in any way. So when someone is offering something, let's say an opinion, when you're going through a break, you have to consider whether or not that offer supports you in that break. And the only way to do that is with clarity. Again,
Mm,
every week we're talking about understanding who you are so you don't keep accepting things that does not fit into your life, into your experience, right? And so people will offer, when you are getting ready to make a big change in life, everybody around you, first of all, it's going to expose everybody around you,
mm,
right? You know how they say you find out who is true in your life when you get married, when you have a funeral, or when you go into a break, right? You
mm,
find out who's real in your life and who's not. It is nothing like a break that will cause you to stop playing with life.
mm,
Playing with life. Like
mm,
stop going along with agendas and ideas and concepts that does not fit who you are as a person, right? So
mhm,
the break opens and it exposes everything, people, you, your surroundings. It makes you look at everything. You are not the same when a break happens,
mhm,
right? So when it exposes the people, you get to see who people really are and how they believe. They're going to come with situations and circumstances. They might say, oh, I wouldn't have done that because this, that, and the other. Or why would you even do that? That's doing too much. Or, some people might come with some wisdom. Hey, you might want, I love the ones that come with some constructive criticism, not just the criticism. You get what I'm saying? People will say, oh, you might have limited yourself on that. Won't you try adding this? And you find that's a value. That's the only constructive criticism I'm accepting.
mhm,
I'm not accepting criticism. I'm not accepting people to critique me. I'm not accepting judgment. I'm not accepting other people's decision for my life. I'm not accepting it. Why? Because it has not gotten me where I
mm,
need to be. It got me to this break.
mm,
So now going forward, I need to be careful of what I accept in life. And
mm,
the only way to be careful of what I accept in life is if I have clarity about who I am in the midst of this break,
mhm.
in the midst of the heartbreak. If you are going into a break and your heart just broke, all you know right now is the hurt.
My God.
All you know is the disappointment. All you know is that things just did not go the way that you expected them to. The unexpected pain of life, right? All you know is the pain that you're facing, right? But we're here to tell you there's more to life than that pain you're feeling. There's more to life than this heartbreak. That if you gotta go through a heartbreak, let it count. That's the way to walk if you're going through a break, right? Because we don't want to go through pain for nothing. Again, see if this suggestion or our opinion helps in your life. If it doesn't, then move forward. But if it helps, if something in your spirit is resonating with what we have been saying week after week, then take it into consideration that this might actually go with what you're believing or what you're thinking or what you're desiring or the answer you may have been seeking, right? Because everything has a reason and a purpose. I don't truly believe in coincidences. I believe that when things happen, there's a reason and a purpose behind it, whether you know it or not, right? And so when you just finish getting to a heartbreak, consider that this served a purpose, no matter how big or how bad it is. That on the other side of this, somehow there's a living, there's a way of life, there's a love, there's more to yourself than you imagine on the other side of this break, right? Because life happens. Life is going to happen. Things happen. Things change. People move. People pass away. People are born. You have all kinds of life that's going on. And how we cope with life is based on our clarity when these things happen, right? So we want to make sure at Beyond the Break to provide for you some clarity or some tools, some mental tools that will help you to maneuver throughout this break so that you don't have to stay still, stuck and stagnant or stay miserable inside of a break too long, that you can be able to take these tools and allow yourself to come out on the other side and live beyond the break. And not only that, but to be able to have enough overflow that you take what you learned in the break and then give it to someone else, right? We a chain reaction kind of thing. When you're going through a break and your heart is broken, the first thing you need to do is have some self-care. You need to tend to your wounds, right? It is okay to stop for a second, take a breather, to gather yourself. And I mean that in every way possible, to gather who you are, to gather what you are, to gather what you have, to gather where you are, to gather what happened, so that you can have a full understanding going forward of what to do next. Allow yourself to feel your emotion in that moment. It's okay to cry if you have to. Let it out, right? A lot of people don't know, but Dr. Toni, I just read a study where they were saying that tears increases either endorphins or serotonin, one or the other. When you cry and you let out those tears, it releases either serotonin or endorphins, either one, right? And so when we begin to let out emotions, it allows us to take that pent up energy that we had in us and allow those emotions to come out freely. It releases it so that we can move past it. We don't want to make a home in the misery, make a home in the heartbreak. Because sometimes when your heart broke, Dr. Toni, then you find yourself saying, I don't even want answers at this point. I don't want to smile. I don't want nobody to say nothing to me. Don't try to encourage me, nothing. Right? Give yourself that time to stop in that moment so that you can become healed enough to become open to an answer. Right? Because you got to be open to some answers. And the reason why you have to be open, but you have to be open with discernment. You have to be open with clarity, because remember, every answer is not the answer. Every truth is not the truth. You have to find the truth and the answer that resonates with you, right? And so when your heart is broken and people begin to pour out answers, you know which one help and which one don't. If you're having a party at your house and someone and you have all of these different things, you might have your grill, you might have your side dishes, you might have a couple of meat. When someone comes and offers something you already have, you say, you have a response for them. You say, oh, we have enough of those, but what we do need is this. This is how you want to state your support, your need for support. You want to say, well, I have someone that does X, Y, and Z. I need someone who can just listen to me, or I need someone to help me find another place to live, or I need someone to help me discover my business, or I need someone to help me move my business from here to there, or I need someone to help me overcome losing what I thought was precious to me. You got to state what type of support you have. And here's the thing. Some support is not going to come from people. Some support is going to come from a higher power. Some support is going to come from within yourself, your higher self. Some support is going to come as you begin to walk. Because as you begin to walk on your journey, you're going to uncover some stuff that is going to support you on your journey. Right? Believe it or not. It's just having the courage to get up and continue walking. Having the courage to live, even if you don't have all the answers, having the courage to walk, having the courage to jump or run wherever you are in life, having the courage to get up and move past all of this will expose some things that will support you along the way. This is why we have to be on the break. This is why we're doing this episode, because this is the type of gems and stuff, the stuff that we share on the show. This is the type of stuff that was uncovered as we were walking. These are things that came up in us as we were crying and asking for an answer that might not have come from a book, that might have come from a book, that might not have come from people, but might have come from people. You go around collecting these gems along the way, right? And so as we are walking forward, even in the pain, the one thing we need to hold on to is that there's something waiting for us beyond this. There's a whole other you on the other side of this break. Can you believe that? What does that look like? On the other side of this heartbreak, on the other side of this breaking of success, can you imagine what that might look like? What does it look like when you're not hurting anymore? What does it look like when you're not crying anymore? What does it look like when you have a life of peace and energized, when you were able to overcome this major heartbreak? What does this look like when you rebuild your life from something that was catastrophic? What does it look like when you when you are faced with the opportunity to build a whole new way of living? Let's say life has pushed you in a direction you didn't even want to go at this time. Maybe you were good at this job and you loved the job, and you never thought you would leave the job. You saw yourself retiring from this job, but something happened at this job and it pushed you in a direction that you weren't willing to go. They laid you off or let you go, right? Can you imagine what it looks like outside of being this job? Can you imagine that them letting you go was beneficial? Can you imagine that when they pushed you out, it was necessary because there was something else calling you, purpose was calling you, businesses was calling you? Imagine who you are outside of this breakup. You may have broken up with someone, right? And they may have broken your heart. Maybe you thought you was going to spend the rest of your life with this person, and they broke your heart, and all of a sudden now you got to pick up the pieces of your life and start again. Can you imagine who you'll be on the other side of this break when you pick your life up, put your life back together in a better way than you were originally, and build a life that is even more alive, more vibrant, more giving than how it was before they came? So solid that if they didn't make you, they can't break you, right? People who don't create you should not be able to break you. You should have a solid, firm foundation within yourself. And if somebody broke you, then you have to readjust or reassess how strong you were in that moment. You have to reassess what you were given to them. Did they have your deed to happiness? If they had your deed to happiness, that was out of order. You take back your power, take back your deed of happiness, build a life where no one else can take your deed of happiness ever again. It only showed where your weaknesses were, but your strengths were never touched. Your strengths was always there. Your strengths were always with you, right? So you use your strengths to build where your weaknesses are. So what I'm saying is, when you're dealing with that heartbreak from that breakup, you have to imagine yourself being worthy of a life that is glorious beyond that relationship. You have to know that whatever that thing that broke you was not the only thing that's out there for you. There's tons of businesses and jobs for you. There's billions of people in this world. There's somebody that would never break your heart. There's somebody who had your best interest at heart. There's somebody who can offer you the support you didn't even know you need. There's somebody out there who can love you in a way that represents the way you have loved you. There's somebody out there you don't have to beg for provision. You don't have to beg for protection. You don't have to beg for respect. You don't have to beg for the things that should come that should already come. You don't have to beg for those things. That's a necessity. Respecting us, who we are, should be a necessity. It should not be an option. Respect should be a necessity in any relationship, business relationship, love relationship, whatever. That's not something you should have to teach somebody to do. I should be able to show you who I am as a person, and you respect who I am. If you can't respect who I am, then do the favor and move on. But here's the thing: when you feel that, do the favor and move on, you have to do the same thing. You have to be able to uplift yourself and know your self-worth, to uproot yourself from something that wasn't serving you, to place yourself somewhere where It's actually helping you build. It's actually helping you to create. It's actually helping you to live life to the fullness. We deserve a full life. Anything less than a full life is out of order. And it can be it can be in order for you, but for me, it's out of order. I have a choice. We all have a choice of living a life that we taking on these human experiences, this human body to live a life that we desire to live. You can do, be, and have anything. Nothing is limited. Nothing. You just have to be willing to take your stand and take your rightful place where you see yourself. You have to be willing to have the character to stand up and fight for what's yours and not let anyone come in and dictate where you belong. That's for you to decide. That's not for anybody else to tell you where your purpose is. That's for you to uncover. So when you're going through a break or when you're entering into a break, you need clarity and support. Mm-hmm. You need these things. It is necessary. These are tools. Remember, if you haven't saw the episode, The Dark Side of the Break, Dr. Toni, I think that's where we talked about having your emergency kit. Mm. You know, when you get a wound, when you go through a situation and it gives you a wound, you have your emergency kit available physically, right? Mm-hmm. If you cut yourself, if somebody puncture your skin, or if something happens, you break something, you have an emergency kit. In that emergency kit is things that you need to support your physical body mm-hmm. in healing. Mm-hmm. You have to have the same thing spiritually. You have to have the same thing mentally. How you do anything is how you do everything. You have to have your emergency kit. We're saying to you, in your emergency kit, mentally and spiritually, you have to have clarity and support. That's not all that belongs in your emergency kit, but those are two of the things that should be in your emergency kit. And if you are having an emergency that goes beyond what you have in your kit, then you seek professional help. This is what we talked about. You have to find what is your emergency room, and you have to be willing to go so you can get the diagnosis and get the treatment and get to healing. The point is when you are broken or bruised, knowing that there's healing for you is step one. Going after that healing is step two. You decide what happens after that. What happens after you get the diagnosis? What happens after you get the treatment? Every treatment is not for you. You have to assess it and see if it resonates with what you believe and what you are having faith for, right? But at the end of the day, having clarity and support matters so that you can make decisions that helps increase the healing. That's the point of support. Having something to hold you up or something to help you while you go on your journey of healing, while you are uncovering parts of yourself, while you're recovering parts of yourself. If you crash, if something in your life crash or broke, let's say God forbid you have a house and it collapsed, right? The first thing you do if you go in that house and it collapses is you go through the rubble. When it's safe, you go through the rubble and you pick out what's important. You go through everything. You don't take just the woods and the nails and all of the burnt pieces and all that stuff. You go through and you sift what's important. This is what you got to do for yourself. So follow me with this spiritually and mentally. Follow me with this. Your house crashed. When it's safe, when it's done crashing, you then go in and sift through the rubble to get the pieces that matter the most to you, that you can take with you to continue your journey. Staying in the rubble, crying over the rubble for years and years is not going to help. You have to rebuild. So if you're listening to this message, this is a call to rebuild. You go through the rubble, you get what you need, and then you go and find where you need to build next, right? We don't have to stay stale, stagnant, stuck, or miserable in the rubble. That's not doing any good for you. We're not saying not to cry your tears. We're saying that as you cry your tears, don't stay stuck in that brokenness. Allow yourself to take who you are, what you have, and your whys, and build something better that make it almost seem like this was worth it. That almost where you come out on the other side and said, had my house not have crashed, I might not have learned so and so about myself. I might not have built such and such a life. I'm grateful for that crash. That's beyond the break.
Mm.
Being grateful for the crash in a way that people who watched you crash doesn't understand why you got a smile on your face, why you're so peaceful, why you get to recover the way you've recovered, because you made you matter. And if you make you matter, you know that clarity and support is what you need. Back to you, Dr. Toni.
Oh my gosh, Tichet, my God, what a beautiful message. What a beautiful, attractive thinker perspective to have when entering into a break. Attractive thinkers and visual encouragers, I trust that you have your attractive thinker notebook handy and you have captured these gems. Do not let these gems hit the floor. That was a wealthy, hearty, fully sustaining message word that you just shared with us, Tichet, about entering into a break, about having how necessary it is to have clarity and support during the break. Because today we're talking to attractive thinkers and visionaries who are entering into a break. You just experienced a defining moment, something that knocked you out of the game, knocked you off of your feet, blindsided you, caught you unaware, and turned your world upside down. We're talking to you today. How can we talk to you? What qualifies us to talk to you? Because we've experienced the same kind of experience when it comes down to a defining moment or heartbreak, something that really took us down to our core and stopped our world from evolving. So we're talking to you, and I wanted to stress that point right there, to Shep, because some of the things you said as I was taking notes, I said to myself that this needs to be said. When I was experiencing my defining moment and my heartbreak, this clarity needed to be revealed to me, so that I wouldn't think that there was not a life beyond the break. That's what you said that sparked this conversation that I'm sharing with you now. You said there's a whole other you on the other side of this break. I didn't know that.
Me neither.
I did not know that, Tashet, and that clarity needs to be spoken today so that attractive thinkers and visionaries around the world know that although you just experienced a heartbreak or a defining moment, there is a whole other you, a prosperous, stronger, thriving, more smarter, clearer, wiser you on the other side of this break. And that's why you have to give yourself a fighting chance. That's why I recall clearly saying to myself in my broken state, I cried till no more tears would come out, just sounds. I couldn't cry if I wanted to, just sounds came out. And I heard a voice say, I love you. And I didn't understand that kind of love. So I made up my mind that I was going to continue to live beyond the break, through this break, in the break, entering into the break till I got to the beyond the break, so that I could understand what this kind of love was, so that I could see what this was all about, what was going to be the result of this. If I had checked out when entering into the break, I would never see the fruit of my experience or my journey or what I was going through at that particular time. I would never see the fruit of the breaking. When something breaks, when your heart breaks, there's treasure there. I would never have discovered these truths about myself and about life had not my heart broken, had not I been inquisitive to find out what spilled out when my heart broke. What else is here other than my pain? I had to shift my focus. Okay, yes, I'm hurting and I am distraught. But let me see if there's something here that I can use going forward. You said, to Shed, take what you can salvage. That was the word that came before me while you were talking. Salvage. What can I salvage? Take what you can salvage from this rubble. and go build something greater going forward.
Yep.
And that was the vision that I had years after my break, years after I was beyond the break. I had a vision. I was sitting on the side of the bed, tying my tennis shoes, getting ready to go out with my family. They were all in the car waiting, and all of a sudden, this clarity came before me, this vision. And I was walking through a junkyard. What you said really triggered this memory that I have. I was walking through a junkyard, and there were piles of rubble. But there was something different about these piles of rubble. There was something shining all throughout them, like glistening, like little gems. And I heard a voice say, "You came out, but you left your substance there. You left your greatness there. You left your gems in the rubble." And I said, "Oh my God, like I didn't know that there was anything to salvage from all of that pain. I was just glad to be out of it. I was just glad that it was over." But Tichet is saying you have to take what you can salvage from the rubble and then use that and go build something greater forward. So while you were talking to Shay, you said there's a whole other you on the other side of the break. I want you to write that down, attractive thinker and visionary, in your attractive thinker notebook. There is a whole other me, a brand new me on the other side of this break. You don't have to believe it right now. You don't have to understand it right now. Just write it down. Put today's date on it and write down the time that you wrote it, because this truth will continue to be revealed to you as you go. It will unfold, I promise you, as you go. And you will be so glad you wrote this down. I don't care if you have to write it down through your tears. I don't care if your tears are hitting the attractive thinker notebook while you're writing it down. I don't care if you have to skip down a couple of lines because your tears have wet the paper that you were going to write the lines ahead that you were going to write on. I don't care what you have to do. Write it down. You'll be glad that you did. To shed so many tear-stained journal pages have fueled and fed my soul down through the years because I had the courage to write it while I was in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had the courage to write it while I was broken. Do you know, attractive thinker and visionary, that there is something rich and sweet and rewarding when you capture revelations and clarity and gems while you're in it? It's not okay to capture it. It has a different taste. It has a different effect when you try to salvage it after you're out of it. Like, oh yeah, well, I'll write about it after I'm out of it. Do you know that there are things that you will never be able to write about out of the break as when you're in the break? When you're in the break, this is a precious, um tender, rare time in your life that truth and treasures that are revealed in this season will never be revealed when you're out of it. I'm trying to share with you that although it hurts, you're in a special season in your life right now, whereas you can capture answers and solutions and clarities that you may have been seeking for years. They're right here in the middle of all of this breaking, and you don't want to rush your way out of it. I took some notes about honoring yourself during this break, and stop all that bulldozing your way through the break. Oh, I'm just going to lay here until this is over, or I'm just going to check out until this is over. You're missing the sweetness, the essence. You're missing resources and gems and tools that you're going to need along the way. This is your breaking. That situation broke you. It didn't break everybody else, it broke you. So anything that broke you has treasure in it for you. It's a customized treasure that nobody else can access but you. You said, what does it look like when you're no longer hurting? Again, attractive thinker. I'm reiterating that because I want you to at least consider the fact that this too shall pass. And when it passes, who will you be on the other side of this break? Not just who will you be. I want you to get a vision for you being a thriving person. You don't have to believe it. Just write it down. Just write it down. You'll be glad you did. When you're beyond this break, you're going to look back in your attractive thinker notebook. You can say, Toni and Tichet said that. They said that I would be a greater person on the other side of this break. They said that I would make it beyond the break. They said that I would thrive. They said I would be a new person as a result of holding on and having courage and believing and trusting this process. And I put the date and the time on it, and they were right. They were right. And I'm glad I wrote this down because it's a mental reminder for the next time when life catches you on the blind side. You'll always know and remember that I'm going to be a greater person on the other side of this break. So I wanted to give some clarity and some practical application to this message today before we close out our message. What is clarity? Clarity is clearness, lucidity as to perceptual understanding. It's transparent to the eye. Clarity meaning that it's not distorted. It doesn't leave you wondering what it is, like you're trying to figure out what it is. You're clear as to what you're looking at. Support, to bear, to hold up a load, a mass, or serve as a foundation. That one stuck with me. Support serves as a foundation, or to withstand weight or pressure, or to prop somebody up when you see them going through something. That's what support means. So that mattered to me because Tishet, you mentioned the first aid kit. You mentioned this emergency kit, and I always call it the first aid kit. And it is for emergency situations like breaks, defining moments, the unexpected. When you started talking about that emergency kit, I thought about some of the things that we do when we reach for it. Number one, a defining moment has to take place. Some type of breaking has to take place in order for you to even start thinking about, where did I put that first aid kit?
Mm-hmm.
Is it in the trunk? Is it in the closet? Is it in the hallway? Did I leave it in the living room? Is it still in the package? Is it on the shelf in the cabinet on top of the fridge? Where did I put that first aid kit? So something has to happen in order for you to consider that. Now that you've found the first aid kit, now you feel comforted because you have resources. See, support comforts you. You may not be able to comfort yourself through this breaking, but support, having the proper supports in place, brings you comfort. You have, when you first open up that first aid kit, the first thing on your mind is, how can I clean this breaking? How can I clean this wound? So the next thing that comes to your mind, you're looking for things to clean it with, you're pouring things on it, and you're looking for something that's going to soothe or stop the pain. How can I stop this aching? How can I soothe this aching? How can I comfort myself? How can I make this better than it was when it originally happened? You're looking for a way to protect and cover the break. We put bandages on it, we wrap it in gauze, band-aids and things like that. Why? Because something broke and it needs to be protected. I want you to think about this, attractive thinker and visionary. You reach for your first aid kit to give it a brace or a covering, to support it, and then you have to keep changing that. You got to go through that same process again and keep changing that bandage while it's healing. You have to take the old bandage off, and what do? You throw that away. So during this breaking, there's some things you're going to have to get rid of because they no longer serve your healing process. They no longer can contribute to your healing process. You can't keep those old bandages on that you had on when you first broke. Those same supports that are in place when you first broke are not the same supports that will help you when you're healing and beyond the break. You got to keep changing, increasing some things and letting go of some things so that you can heal properly. So I thought about that as practical application to shed. When attractive thinkers and visionaries are experiencing a break, you need supports in place, and these are the supports. I want you to write these down in your attractive thinker notebook. Certain specific kinds of supports. Tishet, you said it earlier. People are going to offer their support in heartfelt ways that they feel as though you might need that support, but you may not need it in the form that they're offering it. So you have to have the courage to say no, thank you. because you don't want to keep bringing in things that you can't use while you're breaking, while you're healing. So you need supports in place. And when I say supports right now, I'm talking about people. There are many different types of supports we need while we're breaking. But right now, let's talk about your support system. Let's talk about people, okay? You need certain people in your life that will guard your environment. They will screen phone calls. They will filter through your mail and take out only the important mail pieces of mail that you get that need to be addressed at that particular time, that might have deadlines on it or something like that. Because when my heart broke and I was entering into a defining moment, I wasn't thinking about checking no mail, even though I had things that were due or things that needed my correspondence. I was in business. I had partners and things that needed correspondence from me. I had to sign documents and things. But when you're going through a break, you don't care about anything like that. You need people in place that can handle that for you. So when you come through the break, you haven't destroyed your life. You haven't neglected your life, and you don't have to start trying to figure out a way how you're going to pick up all of these pieces after you've just picked up the pieces to your broken heart. So you need people in your life that will guard your door. Everybody that knocks on my door cannot get in. Understand, like Tichet said, you're going to have to nurture and take care of yourself when you're going through a break. Everybody that knocks on my door cannot get in. People in my immediate circle, they knew you can't just show up at my house. This was prior to a break. I'm just that type of person. You can't just show up at my house because I'm doing things. That's rude, because that person has a schedule. They could be on a conference call, they could be coaching with a client, they could be soaking in a tub, they could be asleep, they could be gardening in the back. You don't just roll up on somebody's private residence and knock on the door and expect to come in, and now all of their priorities are centered around you. That's not how life works. Some people are okay with that. Attractive thinkers and visionaries who are strategic and focused and on a mission in life, we don't roll like that. You got to guard your space. You got to guard your time. You got to guard your schedule and your priorities. We're strategic concerning things. And you have to notify the people around you that that's how you roll now. Think about that. So, and they will comply. My immediate circle began to comply with that. I set time. When I first became an entrepreneur, I had to set my hours, and I worked up until 3 p.m. in my business and on my business. And I had to notify my circle, don't call me before 3 o'clock unless somebody's dying or bleeding, because I'm working, I'm building something not just for me, but for us, for all of us. And they honored that. They didn't call me talking about what they heard on the news or what they saw downtown or what they bought shopping and they think I need to get it too, or some food they ate last night that they thought was really good. They didn't call me about that stuff till after 3 o'clock. Setting boundaries. So you need a support system in your life when you're going through a heartbreak, because your heart is precious. It's your most valuable asset. And when it breaks, you need specialists around you. You need warriors around you that can support you in this healing process. They screen calls, they block calls, they screen emails, they make sure you eat and drink. Even if they're not in your presence, they'll call. We're here in the middle of the day. Did you eat yet? How many cups of water have you had today? Did you take your supplements? Have you had any greens? You just need those reminders and supports in place, because you're not going to feel like keeping up your normal routines. But if somebody calls you and keeps you accountable, you say, okay, and you get up and you go in the kitchen and you drink your water, even if you have to come back and lay down again. At least you're taking care of yourself. Because I always say we can lose a lot of things in life, but if we lose ourselves, we've lost everything. You're everything, attractive thinker and visionary. You are everything. So you have to take care of you no matter what you're going through. And if you can't, you need to have people around you that can help you do that. Because remember what I just said, people around you can't take care of you. They help you take care of yourself. Always
Mhm.
remember that. They help you take care of yourself. Yeah, because
That's
you're
good.
fantastic and amazing. Yeah, and you're necessary. You need people around you to protect and care for you, to protect your circle, protect your environment. They make sure nothing gets in that's contrary to what you're believing for in this healing process. If you're believing that you're coming out thriving, they make sure no words get into your spirit. Nobody's having conversations around you that are contrary. Nothing's on the TV that's contrary. Nothing's on the radio that's contrary. Nothing's coming through your phone that's going to be contrary to your heart healing. They protect that environment. These are key people that sit with you, and they're just there. Their presence. Listen. You say, well, Dr. Toni, what kind of key people? Key people whose presence makes an impact on your life by them just being there. They don't have to say anything. Have
Yep.
you ever been to an event, or you ever planned a party, and everything, you were so excited about it, but if this person wasn't coming, then that would change the game. This person had to come to the party because it's something about their presence that does something. Have you ever been in an environment and you didn't know they were coming, and all of a sudden they walk through the door and you're like, wow, my God, the party is on now. I feel good now. Or you ever been to an event and they come in, and your table is full and you try to make room for them. Y'all move over. Let's move, make some room. Bring me another chair over here. I'm talking about that person. That's a key person that you need to have in your life when your heart breaks, because just their presence, they don't have to say anything. Just their presence will heal your spirit. It will encourage and inspire your spirit. These are the key people. You need people in your circle that will just come and sit, or come and sit and listen, and won't give an answer, won't respond. You don't need to hear anything from them. You just need a listening ear. You need people like that in your life, on your support team, when you're experiencing a break. Um, Someone just to sit and listen. So these are the areas. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. We talked about the first aid kit. Tichet, you said you're the one who has to uproot yourself. I want to just leave with that. Write this down in your attractive thinker notebook. As I said earlier, these people support you in supporting yourself. They can't do anything for you. They help you help you. Okay? Because you're strong, you're fantastic and amazing, you're incredible. You're it. You have everything that you need. You just need some people to support you so that you can be your best self no matter what you're going through in life. And I know what that feels like. And I am so grateful for the people that I have in my life that come and see about me, that text me, that call me, that send me private messages, that just call and say, well, you came to mind. I just wanted to see how you're doing. Because I'm always the one who's calling and checking on everybody else and providing encouragement, inspiration. It feels fantastic and amazing when somebody calls and says, I don't want anything. I just wanted to know how you were doing. Wow, that's a game changer. So Tasha says, you're the one who has to uproot yourself from what's not serving you. That takes courage. You deserve to live a life that you desire to live. The life that you desire to live. You just have to be willing to stand up and take the courage to live this life. Tasha asked me many, many years ago, not long after we met, you said, what is happiness? And I said, it's a decision. And I'll say it again today. How will you get through this break? It'll be because of the decision that you make right now in this moment today. I had to decide to continue to live beyond my break because I wanted to see what fruit was going to come from all of this pain. And when I look back on it, I'm so glad I made that decision, because I would have forfeited all of this fruit. If it has to hurt, attractive thinker and visionary, it has to count. Tichet, talk to our audience about where they can find more information about you as the visual encourager, and give us some closing remarks. And
Absolutely. I wanted to, that's so amazing, all that you shared. I wanted to also give them an idea of support and clarity that does not come from people as well, that you and I, Dr. Toni, have both
Mm-hmm.
benefited from.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I was thinking about while you were talking about support is, you ever see on like a movie or a Lifetime movie where they have a missing person, and when they have a missing person, you see the person who is out to discover or find the missing person, they have all these index cards all over the board, and they're coming up with all these different ideas. And as you go along your journey, I want you to get used to writing things down, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about journaling and stuff like that. A lot of this stuff is important. If you are beyond the break,
Mm-hmm.
right, and you are out of the break, I want you to especially do this, because you want to do this in your power. You want to write down what you learned while you were in the break. You want them on cue cards, all the things that would have helped while you were in the break, right? We're building a power wall, right? The power wall is so that you can have something in your own room, in
Mm-hmm.
your own space, that will fight for you when you don't feel like fighting, that
Mm-hmm.
will fight for you when you can't reach anybody else. Something in your own space that will speak to you when you can't even muster up the courage to say hello to somebody, to tell them you're not
Mm-hmm.
feeling good, right?
Yes.
And so in the time when I went through the break, I was like writing everything down. I had all these cue cards, and not cue cards, I had all these index cards, and I was writing every time I saw something, heard something that resonated, that might have lifted my spirit. I wrote it down and I posted it on the wall. It was all over my bedroom wall, was full of index cards.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then what happened is, because I knew that my dominant way of being at the time was depression, and I knew that when I was feeling good, that eventually I wanted something to help me when I go back through the darkness, because I was focusing on changing my dominant way of being. And you can change your dominant way of being. It takes work, it takes consistency, it takes patience, and it takes clarity. But you can change your dominant way of being, right? I'm a living witness of this.
Mm-hmm.
So my power wall was full of sentences that were helping me, that they were helping me with all the things that I had gathered in my power. It was speaking to me when I felt like I didn't have power. But here's the thing. I put that power wall where I first opened my eyes. In wherever you lay your eyes first thing in the morning, that's where I put that power wall. So what else I put on that power wall are my affirmation. What else I put on that power wall was my vision statement, my mission statement, who I wanted to be. I put on that power wall visual encourager. I put that power wall, this is what I wanted to do. This is who I wanted to be. I had all that on my power wall in my
Mm-hmm.
vision board, right? There's power in that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When you wake up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
you are faced with the first decision of the day.
Mm-hmm.
What mindset am I going to go through this day with? Right? So, to build my way out of
Yes.
depression,
Mm.
the night before, I had to sit and journal all the things I learned throughout that day.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it in the form of a letter,
Mm.
Dr. Toni. I wrote, Dear Tichet, you learn da 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 da. That's that. I included
Yes.
little affirmations. You are a powerful being. I'm proud of you. I had to say some stuff in that letter, right?
Yes.
In that. So in the morning when I wake up and I did my meditation, I read the letter, and that lets me know to continue on from what I learned yesterday. Don't go slip back into the habits of sadness like you had before. Let's pick up from where we left off.
Yes.
And so remember, my dominant way was depression. I was trying to change all that. I wasn't trying to live in that. I wanted to be beyond the break and the joy and the power I have now, right? And so then I sat there and I looked at my wall, and I had all of these different sayings on my wall, right? And these sayings helped me to build my mindset for that day. Right before I got to the place where I can give myself an affirmation, my affirmations was staring me in the wall. All I had to do was repeat it on there.
Yes.
Right? I didn't have to remember anything at that moment, because when you wake up and you're broken,
My
it's
God.
hard to hold on to anything other than the pain.
My
So
God.
the first thing you have to do is be willing to let go of the pain in order to grab onto something else. It's kind of like monkey bars. You gotta let go of this
Yes.
bar to get to that bar,
Mm-hmm.
right? The power of letting go is necessary when you are in the break. You got to learn to let go of the pain so that you can grab onto the power, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine when you have a loss of identity. When I said lost person earlier, you have a loss of identity. You are now the person that's searching for your identity, that's searching for who you are, where you're going, a life outside of this break, searching for that recovery. You're searching for who you want to become. You have to be that person that has that whiteboard full of index cards that's saying, this is what I know so far. This is what I got so far. This is what I want to remember. These are the names of the people who support me. This is the names of people I can call when this happens. You have to have affirmations on your wall that tell you you are powerful, because sometimes you forget in the break. You
Yes.
forget you're powerful. You gotta have those things that speak to you. So I have if you don't have a power wall and you would like to build one, I have a power wall on my website, and I'll tell you that in a moment. But Dr. Toni, I hope you don't mind, but I want to tell y'all how powerful this book is. Dr. Toni sat here and on in chapter on page 623 of this Attractive Thinker book, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was so surprised when I saw this in here, because this is right up my alley.
Mm.
There's tools in here that can help you build your power wall. It's called the ATG Mental Reminder Cards for Decision Making.
Mm.
Right? And I encourage you to read 623 through 625 through 626. But then on 627, all these cards in here. Look at these cards. I hope you can see this. Look at these cards, right? Those cards you can like cut out, right? And build your wall. But I want to read one. I want to read one of these cards, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Tony, because you put your foot in this book, okay?
Yes.
Regurgitating memories that don't make you feel good is a waste of your precious life.
Mm.
Focus on creating new good memories going forward.
Mm.
That sounds like something that needs to be on your wall.
Yes.
If it comes at the expense of your peace, it's too expensive.
My
If it
God.
steals your joy and your hope, then it costs too much.
My
That's something
God.
you want to put on your wall.
Mm.
And I mean, it's tons and tons and tons of stuff in here. You're in a new moment. Let's take that opportunity together. There's tons of stuff for you to build your wall. If you can't find Power Wall on my website and you can't find anything in here, then build one and share it, because people
Mm-hmm.
need
Mm.
the more the merrier. The more power walls we can share, the merrier. And if you know a place that has, good stuff like this that people can build their power wall, share it under this comment section, okay? Because we need these things. So
Yeah.
now you are the person that's searching for the missing identity.
Mm.
You're gonna find it. You have that determination, like
My
they do in
God.
a Lifetime movie. You have that determination. You put everything on their wall. When you will see a detective that would come into the person who's really searching for that person, they will be like, "Oh my gosh, it's all laid out."
Mm-hmm.
You gotta lay out the vision, write the
Woo!
make it plain,
Yes.
write
Yes.
it out,
Mm.
so that when you don't believe it, it believes for you. This
Yes.
is how you put things to work.
Yes.
Things
Mm-hmm.
to work when you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You have people and you have things that can support you. You have a power that's within you that desires to live. Let it.
Mm.
Allow it to allow it to move you past this broken heart.
Yes.
You can live. You don't have to feel guilty for
Mm-hmm.
living again. You
Mm.
don't. It's okay to live.
Yeah.
Okay. If If you need permission, we give you permission to live and thrive, living and feeling vibrant, living in high vibration, loving yourself, living in peace, joy, and abundance, overflowing. We give you permission on this day. Today starts a new day. Today you were granted a brand new set of 24 hours loaded with endless possibilities, unlimited resources, and available opportunities, available resources waiting for you. That's on my website too. If you can't remember what I just said, that's on my website. I think that's one of the first things that you see when you go on my website. So I just want you to remember that you're looking for your lost identity if you just entered into the break. Beyond the break, you've recovered. You've recovered. Now it's your time to take what you have learned and pass it out to the people who need you. Because somebody out there is going through exactly what you have went through while you are beyond the break, living your life in joy and fullness. Allow yourself to give the gift of looking back and helping someone else up. Remember, we only look back if there's a blessing and a lesson.
Yeah.
Right? We don't sit there and live in the past. We look back for the lesson and the blessing. The blessing is being able to help someone else recover from the heartbreak you just recovered from. That's why we are here beyond the break. That's why we're doing it. This is conversations we have all day. We can just show up and these things come out. This is how we talk to each other while we were in the break, while we are beyond the break. This is how we talk to each other. And we thought that it would be so nice to share it with people who are also going through a similar break. So that number one, you can find your tribe of people who are attractive thinkers, visionaries. You find your tribe, right? And you can understand that you're not alone in this, but also know that someone else recovered from what you think you can't recover from.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Endless possibilities of coming out.
Yes.
Endless ways of living free. Imagine that. All those opportunities available for you. Making the things you have right in your current space work for you. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand that going beyond the break is an option. When you're going into a break, living beyond the break is an option. That's why we have their show. We are living testimonies, literally. We done rolled the roller coaster, got the t-shirt. You know how they say that? We done did that thing.
Yeah.
And we came out with our head, we didn't just come out, Dr. Toni. We came out with our right mind, with our head on our shoulder, got a nerve to have established some new passion, dancing, skating, laughing, and joy.
Yes.
We used to have tears so much. Now we have smiles on our face. Let me tell you something. I didn't know I could live the way I live now, but the determination while I was in the break is what mattered the most. When it mattered, that determination helped me build the life I have now. That's why I'm so eager to share it, because who knew you can live a life like this? Who knew?
Yes.
Right? All you have to have is that determination, have the courage, have the willing, and be the person that establish your vision. Just go forward. That's all we ask. So those are some of the things I wanted to tell you. She put her foot in this book.
Yes.
I got mine. I was so shocked to see it. It was amazing. So Dr. Toni, thank you for sharing this. I appreciate everything that you put in this with the attractive thinkers in mind while you were writing it. You kept saying, I got to get it out for them. I got to get it out for them. Let me tell you something. This show is not about selling the book. This show is developed to support you. This just happens to be one of the tools she happens to have because she happened to live beyond the break.
Yes.
Right? So we're not just trying to sell something to you. We're telling you everything that we have that will help you on your journey that we wish we had when we were going into the break or in the break. And now that we beyond the break, we're thankful to have it, but we wish we had it. Right? And so That's the book for Dr. Toni. So thank you, Dr. Toni. If my tool is on my website, you can find me on my website at www.visualencouragement.com. We provide mental support for movers and shakers, all you trailblazers, pathfinders, and groundbreakers, you visionaries who desire to move mountains that need help lifting the heaviness so that you can create a new vision for yourself beyond the break. You can go to my contact us page, put in your information, let me know how I can uplift you, enlighten you, and encourage you so that you can live a life of fulfillment beyond the break with that new identity you deserve. You
Yeah.
can go to my power wall and use it. If I
Mm-hmm.
have it, go to my blog and see how you can connect things,
Yeah.
how you connect normal everyday things to life and
Mm-hmm.
get the answer you seek in normal everyday things that we walk past. Use what we have.
Yeah.
Use what we have.
Yes.
That's why we have it out there, because we want to make sure that you don't go unsupported ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's www.visualencouragement.com. See you soon.
Awesome. Tichet, what a message, what a message, what a message of fire and power. And I thank you for breaking it down to the attractive thinkers and visionaries, because some of them don't know. Some of them have just found us on YouTube maybe 3 or 4 or 5 episodes ago, and they've never heard us share our defining moments. They don't know why we do what we do. They don't know who we are, where we come from, or what validates us to share these powerful core stirring messages, on this YouTube channel. And you're absolutely right to share. The Attractive Thinker book is an opportunity for me to give support to the attractive thinker generation and visionaries around the world, the support that I didn't have and the support that I know that they need when entering into a break, when being in a break for an extensive period of time, when leaving a break. You've grown and you're healing. You aren't fully healed, but you're healing. And when you're living and creating a life beyond the break, you're going to need these supports in place, supports for mental healing, mental strength, and mindset maintenance. My defining moment, just a snippet of for you that do not know, and for the reason why I wrote the first book and then wrote the second book, because I said I gotta get it out to share. If this hurt me this bad and had the potential to knock me out of the game and cause me to walk away from my vision and my dreams and my goals and leave my passion and perseverance and courage on the floor, if it had the potential to do that to me, I know also that it has the potential to do that to other powerful, great, attractive thinkers and visionaries around the world. People who are game changers, like you said, mountain movers, people who are trailblazers. We can't afford to leave our trailblazers unsupported. Listen, attractive thinker and visionary. You are a trailblazer. You can't afford to break completely in the midst of your break. All you need is support, and you can heal and get back up. You'll get back up a different person. The old has passed away. And you got to be willing to let that go, like Tasha said, and embrace this new evolved version of you that is trying to come forth and express itself in your life. You don't know what you asked for prior to that. We all had requests and was asking for certain things for our lives. We don't know why certain things shifted and had to come our way. I don't have answers for all of that. Sometimes, Tishette, as a coach, people would ask me, well, Dr. Toni, do you think this happened because I did this and that? I don't have answers. I don't know why my defining moment happened. I don't have all of the answers, but what I do know is there's something in it that I can use to advance my life going forward. I can't get stuck in my defining moment saying, well, maybe it was because I said this, or maybe it was because I did this, or maybe because I'm not good enough, or maybe because of what they said was right. I'm not getting twisted and tied up into all of that, because we are multidimensional beings. Experiences come our way on multiple levels. You would drive yourself crazy trying to figure out the meaning for everything that happens in your life, for every person you encounter in your life, for everything that comes your way. I'm not interested in doing that. All I'm interested in doing is making sure I make the most out of these experiences and get what I'm supposed to get out of it so I can invent. See, in order for you to know that what you can get from a break can advance your life, you got to know who you are. You have to know that you are the best thing that God ever did. You are the best thing that God ever made. You have to know that. And when you know that, you understand your experiences don't come to destroy you, they come and you grow. They come and you get better. And I say and because people used to always say your experiences come to make you strong. Your experiences come to be that thing happened in your life, but you don't know why it happened. All I know is that it came and this is the result of it. It came and this is how I ended up. It came and this is what I made of it. That's all I know. So my defining moment happened Saturday, October 17th, 1987. My first child, my firstborn son, was diagnosed with cancer of the retina in both of his eyes. As a result, by the time he was 5, we had to have both of his eyes removed in order to save his life. He had bilateral retinoblastoma, cancer in the retina of both of his eyes. You don't think that had the potential to wipe me out? You don't think that had the potential to just cause me to check out of the game and say, forget it, I'm just gonna live an average life, or forget it, I'm just not even gonna try anymore, or forget it, whatever case sera, whatever will be, will be. It had the potential to take my strength. You need your strength. It had the potential to take the core of me, my self-esteem, my self-worth, my confidence, and my courage. Do you know how valuable those things are? It had the potential to take my hope and my peace. Read the Attractive Thinker book. I reveal all of the intangible treasures and gifts that I discovered along the way. Your breaking, it reveals. That's why I say you have to have your Attractive Thinker notebook handy to capture these gems. You don't just sit and listen to messages and listen to people who have been broken. Anytime you can sit at the feet of a person who has been broken, expect to walk away rich, richer. You're already rich. Expect to walk away richer. And don't come empty handed. Have pen and paper in hand to capture the gems because you're going to need them along the way. They're giving you riches. They're giving you essence. They're giving you wisdom that you can't get anywhere else. These truths, Tichet, you can't get unless you've been broken. Unless you've been so I'm done talking. The attractive thinker generation and visionaries who've been with us since we started, you already know what this is all about. You already know, so I don't even have to say anything else. If you want to really know our stories and get into our defining moments, go back and listen to those prior episodes that we poured our heart and soul into. We trust that this message has filled you and fueled you and set you on fire. When you started listening to this message, you may have been laying down or sitting down, had a tissue, wiping your eyes. I know you're up and about. You may still be broken, but I know it made you get up out of that chair. I know it made you holler once or twice. I know it stirred up that truth within you, because that's what truth does, is fire and power. It will get you up from one place where you are and move you to another place. You can't listen to a message like this and not be moved. You can't listen to a message like this and not be moved. So we encourage you. We love you. We support you. We're here to provide the resources, the mental resources that you need to be mentally strong while healing beyond the break, so that you have the clarity and the support that you need while you're in a break. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at theattractivethinker.guru, where we support new and aspiring entrepreneurs, people in the midst of change or transformation, want to be better or just think a better thought. Visit the website, theattractivethinker.guru. Join our mailing list. Get the newsletter. I send a newsletter out every week. Get the newsletter so that you stay connected and stay supported. Stay supported while you're living life beyond the break. You always hear us say, our life's work, now you know, that's to make your life better. Remember, it is not what you're going through. It never was. It's how you're viewing it, and it always will be. Think attractively, and we'll see you soon.